Hey, welcome in to the Fun Astrology Podcast for Thursday, September 5th. Thomas Miller coming at you up early and looking at a chart that I do not understand. I'm having a hard time reconciling this with personal stuff, which is a bad thing to do on a globally oriented podcast like this, where I'm just trying to say, hey, look, here's what's going on up there right now and how it might translate down here as far as some energetic surcharges, movement. But I'm having a hard time reconciling this chart to my own life and what I'm reading and hearing mostly on social media. I got to tell you guys, I have had two major gut punches this week. One on Saturday and one yesterday afternoon, totally out of the blue. I'm looking at this chart and I take notes of my own stuff. I mean, I try to, when certain things are in place, I try to make a definite note of that. So I don't know where these gut punches are coming from, and I'm just seeing so many other people talking about the same thing on social media. So as we look at the chart today, it is actually a really cool chart. When you're reading astrology, when you're looking at a chart, you look at where everything is positioned, and we've talked about that a bunch, right? We've got this big stack of stuff in Virgo, and we've talked about the Saturn, Pluto, South Node, the big three, as I love to call them, and we've talked about Jupiter in Sagittarius. And we've talked about Uranus going backward, retrograde in Taurus. And Neptune is retrograde in Pisces. I mean, those are the big elements in the chart, right? So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. That's not that much to get your head around once you understand or know or just respect what those energies represent. Then you go inside and you start to pick apart the aspects. Those are the angles of how everything is lined up at the sky. Because they all fall, all of the planets and the luminaries all fall on what is called an ecliptic line. So they are all so symmetric that, really to me, when I look around the chart, when I look around a chart wheel and I see the planets around the wheel, I just think of the ecliptic line, because if you were to look up in the sky, that's exactly where they are on the ecliptic line. So what's on the upper half of the chart is what you would see during the daytime. That's what's above the horizon, and everything that's below the 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock axis, if you were to draw a line just perfectly horizontally across the chart, that's what's below the horizon. And I know, astrologers, if you're talking about whole sign, that's not exactly true, but I'm talking about a Placidus chart that most people look at. Okay, don't worry about that. I just didn't say that. Oh, so, when you get gut punched, you just get like, okay, whatever. So this chart has some beautiful symmetry in all these aspected alignments. So I've mentioned this mystic rectangle. Just picture a rectangle in the chart. 2 long ends, 2 short ends. It's all favorable. Those are trines on the long end. That's favorable 120-degree connection. And sextiles on the short ends. Those are 60-degree connections between planets. And we talked about that. We've got Neptune, the North Node, and the South Node, and Pluto, and Saturn in Capricorn. So there's your whole karmic purpose, spirituality, deep insight, except Neptune is retrograde. So a little bit of extra fog in the foggy planet. And then that's all connected favorably with a trine to this Virgo stack. Mars, Sun, Mercury, Venus. So I was like, that's a very favorable alignment. And then today we've got a kite formation on top of that. So that's more, let's go fly Dick Van Dyke's kite, right, in Mary Poppins. So now we've tied the Virgo stack to the South Node, and we've tied that to the midheaven, which is our, it's where the sun is the highest point in the sky. It's the very top of the chart. If we were to put a dome around this viewpoint of this ecliptic line around the Earth, the very highest point of the dome up above our heads around midday, that's the midheaven. So that represents in our life kind of how we shine out. It's all favorable. So we've got a mystic rectangle, which is a hugely favorable aspect. We have a grand trine, and we've got a kite. I mean, this is a good chart. So why is all this stuff happening? Why would you get a gut punch in the middle of a good chart? Why is stuff? I've read of an astrologer whose jobs are ending, and this morning was just seeing, and it's like what I'm experiencing personally right now, and what's going on up in the sky, and what I'm seeing on the chart doesn't reconcile. So what I'm anticipating, there are a couple of you think, where's this coming from? Well, Saturn is getting ready to go direct. It goes direct on the 17th. Jupiter kind of has a big do not disturb sign out, or as I told Majana the other night, it's got its middle finger up right now. Yes, it's in Sagittarius, but it's grumpy because it's squared off to the Virgo stack. So it's like, it's not that something good isn't going to happen. Good stuff happens all the time. It's just, that energetic support that we call Jupiter is a little off right now. So here's what I've been just meditating on, and just try this. I don't know. But maybe if you're experiencing a gut punch like I am, and there's so much positivity in this chart, that maybe the outcome of the temporary pain is going to be really, really, really good. Kind of like a hidden benefit in here. Like we have to stir something up in order to open the gates for this, or let's make it plural, these beneficial things that are getting ready to come into your life. And with that, we could reframe. I'm thinking of my friends on the Carolina coasts now in the U.S., the folks in the Bahamas. And I'm just thinking, good is going to come from this. And that's how I'm going to be doing my yoga this morning, and how I'm going to be meditating through the day is good is going to come. There's too much good in this chart for this to be a CF. You know what CF stands for? So let's just stand in the good. That's what I'm going to do. Chart shows it, so let's go get there. Have a good Thursday. I'll see you tomorrow for Friday.